time. Okay, my talk today will be about fight against extinction. It is, I consider to be the major role of ex situ conservation. Next, please. Now, when we came to Pattaya, we experienced the flood around the hotel. And I'd like to say that we give our sympathy to the Japanese who have suffered recently the tsunami. But all this is reminding us that once again, that Mother Nature is still the only superpower. There's nothing you can do about what Mother Nature wants to do. But what we can do is we can adjust and we can adapt to the changing world. But life goes on. And as I say, we will survive as human beings, as a species on Earth. Now, today we'd like to talk about reintroduction. But before we go to that, we need to understand the many components of the conservation work that we're involved with. First of all, we need to understand what extinction is. Because reintroduction is to help prevent extinction. Extinction means the end of an organism or a group of organisms, normally a species. Okay. Here are some of the animal species that have become extinct. Some in recent years, such as the golden toad, some a few years back like the Caspian tiger, some are very ancient like the mammoth and the deer, which was extinct many years ago. One of the Southeast Asian animal here is you see the cupre, which exists in Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, is also sadly now extinct. Next, please. Now, so what caused extinction? Extinction is caused primarily by habitat loss, overexploitation, overhunting, invasive species, pollution, and even global warming. And maybe other factors as well, but here is sufficient to say that those were the major factors. Now, how do we fight extinction? Through conservation. And what is conservation? We need to understand what our job is. Conservation is the act or process of conserving, and here in our case it involves the protection, preservation, management, or restoration of wildlife, of natural resources such as forest, soil, and water, and perhaps other things, but here are the main components of conservation. There, as we all understand, there are two main extreme methods of conservation in practices today. One is in situ conservation. In situ conservation is the process of protecting an endangered plant or animal species in its natural habitat. Excuse me. Next, please. Here, picture of in situ conservation. We protect the animal, the plants, and wildlife in its own natural habitat, in the forest, in the sea, as you see here. Now, ex situ conservation is actually an in situ conservation backup plan. When in situ fail, we come in and we can be a major force in helping to protect extinction. Excuse me, let's go back one slide. Ex situ conservation is the process of protecting an endangered species of plant or animals outside of its natural habitat. Next, please. Here are some of the animals that we are working with within zoo community and aquarium community in the ex situ conservation project. Zoos and aquariums all over the world. I don't know how many thousands we are in combined force. I think we have a huge number of animals under our care. We have a lot of people who are trained, dedicated with us to do this together. Why do we have to do this? Because zoo community, aquarium community have taken part in removing many wild animals out of their natural habitats. This is, of course, an old picture. Zoo and aquariums already maintain many threatened species. Okay. In our care, we don't need to go and look for specimens to work with. We are equipped with tools, with the technique, with experience, and with trained people. Okay, and we want to do this. And we have been doing this for many years. And we also, in many cases, our funds to do conservation work is provided by the government or public donations. Some schools may be able to raise money on their own, but in most cases, we need help from outside. And you imagine among all of these organizations all over the world, how many people we have working together with us, how many animals we have. So if we combine forces and work together, I think ex situ conservation will succeed. We have to accept it as our responsibilities. We have to be the modern day Noah's Ark, because no one else will do it if we don't. What is reintroduction? Reintroduction is the deliberate release of species into the wild. Usually involves species that are endangered or extinct in the wild. Now, what has already been done in the world, within CISA, in Thailand, and in some respective countries, people who are here, I do not have the information of what you all do. I did ask for it. I got some answer, but most of the time, I did not get the response in time to be able to put your input into this. But let's look at what is happening with the reintroduction process. We've had many animals put back into the wild. Some successfully, some it's an ongoing process. We have the California condor, which is being released. We have the Pierre David's deer, which was extinct from China, but they were brought back from Europe from the zoo, returned to China successfully. Now they have a big herd. They have successfully returned the wolf to Yellowstone National Park, which has greatly improved the habitat and the condition of wildlife within that park. The beaver have been released in Europe, and of course the golden eagle in the United Kingdom. But many more. I do not have time to go through them all. But just to say to you that ex situ conservation is now a strong component of conservation, and is being practiced all over the world. In Southeast Asia, I received the information from Indonesia that they have released the beautiful Bali myna, which was almost extinct. They have also released the Sumatran tiger. And I think that Malaysia has been working with the milky stork. But many other, I do not know what Singapore has done. I don't know what other country within Southeast Asia, within CISA, has done. But that information I think we can get. Thailand, the Department of Natural Park, Wildlife and Plant Conservation, which the deputy is here with us, has raised about 80 korat, which is a small goat-like animal, live on very high places, and they were very rare. But now I think they've been able to raise about 80 of them, and they have returned about 9 or 10 to the wild. I think it's an ongoing process. Elk deer. We have 2 species of elk deer in Thailand. One is the Siamensis, which is almost extinct. So few left. And the Tamin, which is now has been released into the forest. The Siamese fireback pheasants, not yet extinct or greatly endangered, but the destruction of the forest, we have to be assured. So I think they're breeding many of them and are putting them back. Also, the hawk deer have been returned. The hawk deer has disappeared from the Thai forest altogether, but there's so many in captivity. And the significant part of this is so many people in the world worried about tigers. But if you release tigers into the forest or save them from being shot, being killed, they have nothing to eat. What good does it do? So we need to protect the food source for these predators as well. Next, please. Okay, close to us, and we will be visiting Khao Kieu Open Zoo within the next few years. Now, they have successfully returned the stork, painted stork, and the pelicans back in the wild. The funny thing is, it started off with animals, you clip their wings, you let them loose because you don't want to cage them. You didn't want to cage them. Sometimes you clip their wing in time, sometimes you didn't. So some flew away, came back, start breeding. So now it's a successful project. I think we're proud of. I think this is a kind of a pilot project that we should use as an example to do many more species which need help. Now, this is one thing we are very interested in. The Saurus crane, the Southeast Asian subspecies, have disappeared altogether from Thailand. From the time I was very young, I saw them when I was about 13, 14 years old in Trat province, in the wild. But then after that, we never saw them again. But anyway, Vietnam has them, I think. Cambodia has them. They claim to have a few hundreds in each country. I think it's the same animal that fly between these countries. So we're counting them again and again. Anyway, but Korat Zoo is breeding many of this. And I'm so happy to see that they are now taking them to a province and are releasing them and following to see how well they survive in the wild. I think this is the kind of project we all need to get involved with. We all need to do it together. Now, those who are lucky to receive our attention, but there are so many animals, so many species within Southeast Asia, which is a mega diversity countries. Are we going to have time to help more? Are we going to have the facility, the funds, and enough people to do more? I'd like to see that happen. Like, we're breeding in Khao Kieu many carbon leopards, but because it's being a predator species, where are we going to release them? Because, as I understand it, predators are very difficult to put back into the wild. They don't know how to hunt. They don't understand the danger of people who they've seen all their life. But these are the challenges we must meet. These are the things we have to try to do. Also, next please. Here, the last vulture, large vulture, this one, was poisoned in our sanctuary many years ago. People put bait out, poison meat out to try to kill tiger for the skin and for the whatever. But this came first. This arrived on scene before the tiger did, and the whole flock died. Okay? Next please. Here is one of the rarest birds. It's a Bernese Peter, which occur only in one small spot in the south of Thailand. And just a minute. Some ornithologists say they have found some in Burma, which is a very good news, because we're not, right now we're not protecting them very well yet. The rats kill the babies, eat the eggs, so it's very difficult to protect them in the wild. Next please. Now, the Siamese crocodiles. There are so few in the wild, but there are a huge number in captivity. Thailand breeds them like more than 100,000 a year. Vietnam breeds them, huge number. Cambodia breeds them, and China breeds them. But how do we put them back in the wild? You put them in a place where people go fishing, they don't like it. It's a case of there are so many specimens available, there's no place to put them. Okay, but that's a project. The crocodile people and the IUCN and the fishery department and the conservation, the National Park Department are going to talk together, work together to see what to do, how to return the Siamese crocodile back to the dugong. We have a province in the south where there are about 40-50 dugongs, but so many get killed in the nets, fishing nets. So many get killed by the propellers of boats. I don't know how many years they're going to how they're going to last in the future, unless we find a way to leave them alone in certain area where there's no boats, no nets, no poison, no garbage for them to eat. I think we're going to lose them all. But zoo people can, if we have some specimen in the zoo, I think there's a future for this animal. Lastly, here's a saola, most recent large mammal discovered in Laos and part of Vietnam. I hear. But here's a picture in the wild. There's the last one that recently captured and died. And we found one every 10 years or so. But they're not surviving in captivity. Perhaps we don't get them in a healthy state. Maybe they're so weak, so injured. We don't know. But I think that Caesar should think about this before it's too late. This is very late already. Nobody knows how many are left. Like I said, the last time they found one was 10 years ago, and now they're finding another one. But they don't survive. So I think this is one good example of the ex situ conservation efforts, that we need to come together, put our heads together, our money together, our people together, and see what we can do. Okay? Now, we need to talk a little bit, when we want to talk about conservation, we need to talk about biological diversity. To me, biological diversity sustains a functioning natural system, which in turn sustains all life. It goes in circles. But how do we explain biological diversity? If you compare our Earth with a watch, watch is called Calista. It's a Greek word meaning most beautiful. This is one of the most expensive watch, most beautiful watch in the world. It's worth, last time they checked, it was worth $11 million. Because the price goes up all the time because of the price of all of the diamonds and gemstones on it. Anyway, If you compare biodiversity with a watch that tells time, you look at the surface of a watch, you can tell time. But the animals and plants inside that watch, small animal, tiny animal, big animal, that make the watch work. We're losing parts every day. One day this watch will stop running altogether. That's when life stops. Okay, so we need to protect the little animal, the ugly one, the pretty one, the big one, the one we don't like, the one we don't like. Cockroaches, we don't like this and that. 5 minutes? Plenty of time. Okay, so we protect the little parts, the little animal, big animal. That's how nature works. We must do this because we have to zoo people or foreign people must be both the people who make the showroom for nature, and that is our exhibits. The animals are our friends working inside the exhibit. We are working outside the exhibit. We work together. And we also have to be the modern days art because we like a gene bank. We're like people who already have them in our boat. As soon as the conditions are ready, we put them back. Okay? Together we will meet our challenge in the fight against extinction. Thank you.